Today on AGetc, we hear from Mandy Carr Johnson, Senior Executive Director, Science and Production Solutions for NCBA, who will talk to us about substitute meat products. She will compare and contrast substitute meat products with real beef, talking about nutrition, sustainability, and marketing. And then we will end with Clint Walenciak, talking about the growth of certified Angus beef worldwide. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
When we transition into safety, a couple of points to know is what these alternative products, particularly as we transition from the plant-based to the cell or often termed laboratory-based products, their goal is, again, to play on some of the key issues that consumers are concerned about. And you see here from an article in Food Technology Magazine, which is an industry magazine, but it often publishes things on very different topics. And in their January issue last year, it was a feature on what would the world be like animal-free, meat-free. And they showed really the perception and goals of these lab-based or cell-based companies is to, again, play on the emotions of consumers that we use too many antibiotics, we don't utilize them properly, and that leads to antibiotic resistance. And the way we raise beef and the way we process beef today is linked to Salmonella and E. coli, and their process would have none of that. So they are playing on those emotions and then working to build a system which they believe will eliminate those challenges. When we look at the realities for beef, a couple of facts. Cattle producers have been investing in beef safety research since 1992, and many processes have changed, interventions have been put in place, techniques have been changed that has made one of the safest food supplies in the world. We know that companies invest millions of dollars in implementing that technology, but also in testing. And testing is not to be a deterrent in the system. It's actually to catch something before it gets to the consumer. So companies do more testing than is required by the government. Their point is to put safe food into the food supply for consumers. So they continue to invest more than is required. And we know that beef safety has improved over time. When we look at the data from USDA, we see a decrease in positives for E. coli 0157 and the other target E. colis that are considered adulterants. Trim sampling has gotten lower and lower in the number of positives for these target pathogens over time. Residues, we go back to one of their arguments is about residues. You see here that we have a very low residue violation rate, particularly in trim produced from steers and heifers. You see that the inspector-generated samples is at 0.00024% positive. It's extremely low and continues to improve. On a scheduled inspection, random testing, last year 0 positives for trim generated from steers and heifers. So we don't have a challenge in residues from compounds like antibiotics. Consumers have confidence in beef, so they're trying to build a product that will have the same or better confidence. 87% consumers give beef an A or a B, particularly for steaks and roasts, and about 83% give it an A or B for ground beef. This is up over 10% since 2002. So consumers do see beef as a safe product. So they want to capture that positive attribute for the new product.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Now, as I transition into the nutrition argument, I just want to let you know all this information, these infographics, they're on beefresearch.org and also on beefitswhatsfordinner.com. So those are two key resource areas for you if you're looking for infographics or snippets of information or a fact to utilize. Those things are all available to you there as part of our Beef Checkoff programs. So now I'll transition into nutrition and health, which is often one of the top arguments that a alternative protein company utilizes against beef. And what you see here is often they claim a superior nutrition. And you can see on the right-hand side, again, the Beyond Burger marketing claim, which really elevates the only good part or the good qualities they would like to make. Like it has protein and it doesn't have these other things. So in the consumer's mind, their argument is about what they think are the positive attributes. What they tend to do is leave out the key pieces that may be negative attributes. And we'll talk about a couple of those as related to nutrition. So what are the facts? The facts are that beef supplies vital nutrients across the lifespan, from beef as a first food in infant feeding all the way through the life cycle into elderly care and nutrition and muscle mass maintenance. You also have calorie for calorie and serving size to serving size. Beef has the highest quality protein compared to the alternatives. Beef is a low sodium food. You'll understand why that statement is critically important in a moment. Beef is leaner today. You heard in the previous presentation we are producing more choice and prime, but when it comes to the retail case, what's available for consumers today is leaner than it has been in the past. And we know that heart-healthy diets with lean beef can maintain blood cholesterol levels, which is often an argument that is used defensive towards beef. So here are the things that back up those statements. On average, a 3-ounce serving of lean beef is 10% of the daily value of 10 essential nutrients with less than 10% of the calories. So calorie for calorie, you're getting the most nutrition from beef as compared to these alternative products. Another fact, when you look at that in a little bit more depth, we know that research supports high-quality protein in weight management, in your ability to feel full longer. Many of us can experience that when you don't have protein at breakfast. What happens about 10:30? You start getting a little hungry and you start looking for a snack. So when you have protein, and beef can be part of that, it helps you feel full or have satiety longer throughout the day. If you look at the right-hand side, I think this is often very informative for those who are trying to make a plant-based protein argument, that if you were consuming 25 grams of protein, this is the amount of calories and the volume of each one of these foods you would have to consume. So 3 cups of quinoa would give you 25 grams of protein, but you would have consumed 666 calories. Do you think you can eat 3 cups of quinoa in a sitting? No. It would take 6.5 tablespoons of protein to have the equivalent amount of protein as a 3-ounce serving of beef, but it would be over 600 calories to do that. Versus if you look at the bottom, 3-ounce serving of lean beef is 173 calories, and 25 grams of protein. So the efficient protein that beef offers is often not portrayed in that argument when we're talking about a plant-based protein comparison.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer and work with you.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide, presented by Lucas Oil, featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV, the all-new Better Horses Network.
My name is Bill Meredith, and I farm about 7,000 acres. We raise about 150 head of longhorn cattle. It was real frustrating for me to not be able to have my hands on it. When I'd come down in the morning, almost cry because my back was hurting so bad and my memory was so bad, and I'd been to Mayo's clinic feeling like it was nothing was happening as fast as I'd like to see it happen. My land guy come and pulled up beside me and he asked me how I was doing. I told him I wasn't doing worth a darn. He was telling me about this treatment they were doing down there in Manhattan. Anyway, we come up here and got this treatment, put some in my shoulders because I couldn't bend my head like this. I finally started getting my memory back, and I'm able to do about everything I was doing before, maybe more. I went outside and raised my hand and praised the Lord,
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
To keep that in perspective, we often see graphs or information like this. So 1 year growth rate in dollars, you had a 25% growth rate of beef substitutes compared to a 5% growth rate of beef. The key thing to keep in mind is value. So when you look at what 5% growth in beef looks like, is 22 times the value to the marketplace as compared to the substitutes. So they may have a higher growth rate, but the value associated and the price associated with beef is still considerably higher for our industry.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers, farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
What if U.S. soybean oil were an industry sensation? If end users started asking for it by name? That future is here, the time is now. To meet customer demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in varieties that produce oil with increased functionality. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about employee safety and work comp coverage. On your farm, do you ask your friends to come help? Are they considered employees or neighbors helping neighbors? Did you know that you can be held responsible just as if it's a work comp accident? Give me a call, we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
So lab-grown meats, we polled consumers through our market research team and looked at what do consumers think about lab and plant-based alternative products. And when you look at the 2 years, it's basically flat. About 55% are aware of lab-based substitutes, and about 65% of consumers are aware of plant-based substitutes. So it's strictly awareness. Do they know they exist? When we ask them what's the best source of protein, this is how they line food products up. You can see on the left what they think is the best source of protein, and on the right, what they do not think is a good source of protein. So you can see the spread there from beef, eggs, poultry, and on the right are cricket flour products. Anybody tried one? They are strange. They are very strange. Then the plant-based, and then the lab-based on the right. So consumers are not thinking these are high-quality protein products. When we look in comparison 2017, 2018, you see, again, very similar in they continue over the last year, even though there's been more coverage through the media, they still believe that sources of protein that come from beef, eggs, and poultry are higher quality and better protein as compared to any of the alternatives. The key thing to remember, though, as we transition into Danielle's talk, when we polled consumers and asked them what they think about lab-based or cell-based meats, the majority of them do not see them as an alternative. They do understand that lab-based started with a cell of an animal. So they see them as very similar as far as what the end product will be, that it is still a beef protein. That's very different than the plant-based. They understand the difference in those. So when you ask them, how would you describe these products? What you see in green are the words that they utilize that would be positive attributes for lab-grown products. The red are the words that would be the negative attributes that they see for these products. So things that they see as positive for lab-based are things like sustainable, saves the animals, they are a meat substitute. What they see for as negative is they see them as fake. They see them as something created in a lab in a test tube by a mad scientist. So there is this dichotomy of their perspective here. But I think what's the most interesting is on the right. If they were going to convince a friend to try a lab or cell-based product, the words they were used is what you see on the right. They would tell their friend that it's healthier, it's cleaner, it tastes the same, it's humane. I love it, human. Okay, that's what they say. They say human. They often confuse the words. But the treatment of the animals is something that they're concerned about. So they see this grown in the lab is being something that is better for the animals. So lastly, as Danielle comes up, I just wanted to share with you particularly the things on the right. So we talked to consumers. What do they see as the most positive attributes of the lab-based products? And that's where the blue lines are important. So you can see what they think are the strengths of those products are sustainability, clean, healthy, responsibly produced or raised. What our strengths as a beef product are things like taste, fewer ingredients, less processed, and even safety.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This is one of my favorite bits that I make. The name I give this bit is a derby bit. I had a roan head horse that was running through the bridle with the chain bit, and I made this bit here. It really worked good on that horse. I sent this bit to Donnie McNeese, who breaks in cattle for Jeff Smith and Ike Cox, and I said, ride this bit on a lot of horses, see how you get along with it. They did. He said, Bull, that's really a good bit. Fits a lot of horses. Then I give this bit to my good friend Brent Wright, who I make bits for, and I said, see how this bit will work on a reining horse. I call him up a couple months later. I said, Brent, how you getting along with that bit? And he said, good. He said, you don't need it right this minute, do you? And I said, no. He said, good, because I'm down here in Texas and I just won a big futurity riding that bit. And when Brent got home, he gave me the buckle that he won the futurity with. I'm really proud of that buckle that Brent Wright gave it to me, and also that he got along so good with my bit.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if your cattle get out, you could be held liable for that? Call me. Let's have a discussion. 316-945-6733.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Exports, a favorite topic for cattlemen everywhere. Packing Director Clint Walenciak says 2018 was an exciting year for the certified Angus beef brand. He breaks down the numbers like this.
We finished the year specific on the certified Angus beef brand export side of things, up 16% year over year. But when you look at the cumulative growth that we experienced over the last 3 years, that number actually goes to a 75% increase.
80% of the brand's export business is divided between our neighbors, Canada and Mexico, along with Hong Kong, Japan, and South Korea. Then there are the less expected markets.
We do see some smaller markets that still play a very important role in South America, the Middle East, and Asia as well. So countries like Peru, Chile, the Dominican Republic, in the Middle East, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates, as well as Taiwan back on the Asian market.
The cuts of meat driving demand internationally are across the carcass.
International markets are going to pull from across the entire carcass, but some areas where they excel above and beyond the domestic market would include items like short rib or skirts, as well as chuck rolls.
What does that mean for cattlemen? More money in their pockets.
U.S. Meat Export Federation would quote that export business generates about $320 per head for every fed animal. And so when we translate that back to a live cattle price, we're talking 18 to 20% of the total animal's value generated through those export business.
In short, international market development is a good investment. I'm Bob Cervera.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.